It started off friendly enough. Two politicians who belong to the same party sharing a meal before heading out. But all this friendliness would change the minute they hit the air in different helicopters, each getting a first-hand view of the extent of destruction and human encroachment in the Mau. And once on the ground, the sentiments from the locals is nothing short of hostile.
Hii watu yote, sikiza, wacha nikwambie, na nakwambia na ndarudia mara 20. Kama umeingia msitu utatoka. Yes.
Clearly, the situation here in Goben is very volatile. Land, very emotive issue here. These people don't feel safe. Some of them have genuine titles, they say, but they say that their schools and their houses are being burned down, and they don't know what to do. Kuna shida mingi hapa?
Yes. Ha? Kama nyumba imechomewa baba yangu huko. Jana. Kama baba yangu imechomewa nyumba huko. Sasa hii watu
Shida ni hii.
Leta maolekina anakuja anakutuambia
tunachokosa nani?
Sisi hata sisi tunamwambia mapema atoke. Tulikuwa tunataka kueleza Letama ajui map ya 1976, ajui map ya 1980, ajui map ya 1990. Letama amekosea. Wakati juzi imekatwa hii magroup, Letama alikuwa shule. Ajui catline. Serikali ameweka catline na akaweka machane chai. Na akasema msipite. Sisi hatujapita.
Kuna wengine wamepita lakini.
Hakuna atoe hiyo. Hata sisi tutatoa kabla hawajatoa.
Atoe hiyo nyumba
tutatoa.
In fact, we were born here. We know nowhere. Where will we go now? Our parents have been living here for some years, about a decade. And then now we are suffering.
Where do you go?
No.
Where will you go?
Nowhere.
But remember, we are not going to assist fiction. Sisi tunataka wana na maji.
So off we went in the back of this truck to see for ourselves the full extent of the destruction and encroachment. Habari zenyu? Mambo. Safi eh? Kubaya? Huh? All around us was once forest. Now it's maize shamba after maize shamba. Na huku ni kwenu sasa?
Huku ni kwetu.
Na ni akina nani?
Pande hii ndio nakwambia, kuanzia hapa shamba hili inaelekea huko. Pande hiyo ni shamba ya serikali.
Na mahindi ni ya nani? Na iko na mahindi.
Hizi mahindi ni zile watu ambao walitolewa kwa sababu watu waliambiwa, kwa sababu mnajua ukweli mashamba haitastahili kupita hapa. So watu wakatoka mahindi yao ikiwa.
The government has moved in and evicted many of those it says have settled here illegally. So this is typical of one of the dozens of houses which were destroyed, many of them burnt, that belong to the locals here. This one belonged to Robert Ruto, who says his family has been living here for many years. Ruto, si huku ni kwako? Ilikuwa yako?
Ilikuwa yangu.
Nani alikuja akachoma?
Askari alikuja akatuvamia hapa, akatuambia tutoke. Sasa sisi hatukuwa la kufanya, sisi tukaenda kambi huko juu. Sasa at least tunaomba serikali atusaidie kwa sababu sisi tumefamiwa kama sio wa Kenya.
You see this pile here behind me? These are freshly cut cedar wood, freshly cut from the Mau Forest Complex. And they say there's no logging, illegal logging going on. This was freshly cut by and captured by these guys. Obviously, the perpetrators took off, but illegal logging is still taking part. This is the last line of defense in this whole Mau forest complex. And yet, the issues are still out there. Who's to blame? Where is the cut line? What happens next? So many questions, so few answers. Gentlemen, clearly there is a problem in the Mau. Let's not kid ourselves. Let's not fool ourselves. And Governor, let me start with you. There's a huge problem in the Mau. The encroachment, the logging is still going on. We can see, we've seen evidence. And people encroaching into the forest itself. There's a huge problem.
Indeed, there is a problem. But that problem is easy to sort out by KFS ensuring that there is no encroachment on the forest, that there is no logging. In fact, we did not see any massive logging really, although you want to say that, but we didn't see any massive logging. We found some little trees, but I'm told those ones were felled by the Nyayo T-Zone Corporation as they established the tea estates to establish a cut line between the settlements and the forest.
Senator, you obviously disagree with this because we've seen for ourselves. 5 years ago, it wasn't like that. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and it's getting worse.
It is indeed. And it is very sad that my dear brother here does not seem to realize this massive destruction of our heritage. I mean, we've come clearly, we've gone through, and it is sad that now he wants to say, oh, these T-zones, those T-zones, there's no way you can put a T-zone to be able to be a boundary between two forests. The forest should be one. What you're doing is that you are encouraging people to encroach. I think there's serious encroachment in the forest. We have seen it. We have flown over it. And I actually commend the work that KWS is doing, Kenya Forest Service is doing at the moment, by making sure that they get all these people out of the forest.
Governor, there's breaking news today that, or rather barring all the T-zones that we were talking about, the T-zones are going to be barred from all Pusimoro to Mau Forest, all that. An order barring the T-zones.
The T-zones also include those ones in Bomet, the Nyayo T-zones. Are you barring them from there also? All the way around Mau, or which Mau? But anyway, that is neither here nor there. All we are saying is the people living in land that is titled cannot just be wished away. It is the same government. The Kenya government is the one that gave out the title deeds. We've heard it from the people all over where we went, that they have got title deeds, and they went to check at the Narok Lands Registry as to the veracity of those titles. And indeed, they are there. So the question is, the area we went where we saw the destruction of houses was just about 200 meters from the forest.
For now.
That's what we saw.
Yes.
The rest of the area, they are in agreement that those are settlement areas.
But then what happens?
So where is that destruction you're talking about?
Let me say one
right
thing.
Inside.
I am very, very happy with the new directive. In fact, I congratulate Keriako Tobiko for issuing that directive, because this government is now moving in the right direction. We cannot use the state agency to try and abate corruption. The most important thing that we can do, we do away with that T-zone completely, we plant trees, then now we can now start talking about this issue of title deeds. It is very clear. These people have encroached into the forest. We went, we saw the beacon, which was there. The entire settlement, these people have been destroying it.
We saw the beacon. We saw the beacon at exactly where the forest ends.
No,
but there's no forest now.
Jeff,
there was a forest
Jeff,
across.
That's not true.
You saw it.
Because what he said, when he went and spoke to his tribesmen who were there, or let me put it in a better way, those Kenyans who are there, who happen to be from his tribesmen, who happen to speak the same language he speaks.
They also speak Maasai.
They
spoke the two languages.
When he went and spoke to them, what one of those guys said is that what we know the boundary to be is 15 kilometers away from here. That is nonsense. The truth is, where the cornfield was, that is a forest. I mean, even where we're seated, look at this human destruction. Everybody, over time, we have to stop this. If you don't stop this, tomorrow, Jeff, you will not find these big logs lying down here. Wait, what will happen is that you will find people cultivating this place. So we must stop there so that we can be able to ensure that we preserve what we have and we improve it for future generations.
Correct.
I'm told the targeted population is way above 70,000. Is that what we are talking about? Is that what we are saying? What I'm hearing is that deep behind what he's arguing is a process of moving a population. It is a process of depopulating the place with a certain ethnic community. That, in my view, is not how to view an environment. What we need to do is to have a round table with all the stakeholders and agree on where the forest ends. And if the Narok County Council gave out title deeds in 1975 all the way down to 2002, then those are Kenyans that are living there. Anybody now who has gone right into the forest, for example, if there is anyone living here, that person should be removed. This is just carelessness on KFS.
But they are there.
There is somebody, but have we seen anybody here?
Okay, it's a matter of time, but it's a matter of time. Before you know it, they'll be planting maize here.
The point, that is why we are saying, let there be a cut line just there, that you cannot cross here.
No.
It should be clear where people should not cross.
You disagree?
Did you also see? Did you see from Bomet, as we came across, did you see people moving beyond that cut line?
And that's where the problem is. There's nothing.
Why are you refusing to put a cut line here?
Jeff, we don't live in the jungle. There's nothing like a cut line. There are clear boundaries, beacons. We're a country which is governed by the rule of law. The constitution is very, very clear. You have a right to own property. But that right is limited to only what is legally, which can be legally bounding. You cannot be able to correct, to say that Narok County Council gave out land, title deeds up to 2002. If Narok County Council, if some crooks who are maybe councillors or officers of Narok County Council gave out land, they should be sent to jail.
Narok County Council gave the authority. The national government gave out the title deeds. It is the Ministry of Lands, which is a national government function. It is not a county council function. Secondly, what we are saying is the area that is affected by the evictions was area occupied by 5 group ranches who are actually Maasai group ranches. Those group ranches decided to subdivide the land and sell it. Now they sold it. Now they sold the land to the current settlers.
Sure.
Now
that wasn't the problem. That wasn't the problem. The problem was extending the boundaries of those lands. Extending the boundaries. One from 300 to 1200. Another from 500 to 1500.
Extending, if you were to get the record straight from the Ministry of Lands, it was an extension by the same county council. And remember, the county council extending that land, they were dealing with community land. They are dealing with the trust land.
Don't lie.
I have the minutes.
The county council did not extend that land. That is not true. What is factual is, those group ranches had their land.
How would...
What Governor Ruto does not even know is that when you look at, for instance, this piece of land here called Rayo, which was only 50 acres, the title deed, when you look at the green card, the number of acres now in the green card, which was illegally done by some crooks in the land ministry.
So have you arrested them?
Wait.
Have you arrested the crooks?
Listen, you know, it is sad that Governor Ruto, who was a member of parliament, who was arguing with the Prime Minister about these issues, can now come and say, no, I disregard all the money used by the taxpayers to set up that Nur commission to be able to establish that boundary, which we just went to.
Yeah.
So what he's saying what favors him as a politician. Because he also said that it is a population which is being moved. Let me tell you something. The Maasais have been very careful. They protected the environment. We will not allow people to encroach into the environment. Even if those people are Maasais, I will not allow them to encroach into that environment. They need to go where they came from.
Yes, I have no issue with that. The point we are disputing with my brother here is that the settled areas are titled areas.
No, they're not.
Now he is saying that some crooks in the Ministry of Land changed the green card. That is where the police should have started. How did they change the green cards? The green cards are the ones that gives you where to buy land. If we are not going to follow the law, then there is no point of having a country.
Okay, Jeff,
then we become.
I want to follow the law to the latter.
Yes.
I want to follow the law to the latter.
Yeah.
Even earlier on, when we were talking to some people there, that gentleman, Ruto, another Ruto. Okay, this name Ruto is very interesting with land. Another Ruto. This fellow said he came from Sogo. And right now he's very comfortable. He came and built a small structure. You saw that. Yeah. That's not like a real big house. It's a small structure. And the only reason why he came there is because he wanted to cultivate land. He cut the trees, so he wanted to be able to cultivate land, to get a place where he can be able to grow. I challenge him to produce his title. He says he doesn't have it.
Yes, the title.
To say, let me finish on this issue of titles, because you keep on pestering, talking about this issue of title. Any Kenyan, Kalenjin, Masai, Kipsigis, or whatever tribe you come from, you're a Kenyan. If you claim that you have a title, bring that title. Let us follow the due process of the law and find out whether it is legit or not.
Yes,
There are so many river road title deeds here.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm simply saying this, that look, Group Ranch were given one huge title, and then they sold it to several people.
No, they didn't.
And for them to get title deed, they have to mutate that, so that they can know their own areas. Now, if the surveyors do not go there, they cannot get the title deed. So there is one huge title for the group ranches, and some of the individuals actually were given individual titles. And we are going to get you the title deeds next week. I'll bring them. You have a look at them.
Jeff, let me clarify that.
Right.
Group ranches have members. Okay?
It's like a circle.
The group ranch does not sell land. The
What does it
group
do?
ranch allocate land to members.
Yes.
Members are the ones who sold. If there are any, they are the ones who sold land.
Correct.
That's a group ranch.
That's okay
Let me
then.
correct
That's
you.
okay. Yeah.
So this is very simple. If there is a Ruto there who claims that he bought land from the group ranch, he's lying. He never bought land from the group ranch. He bought land from an individual.
Yeah.
If he paid money, there is a process. You have to pay taxes. You have to pay a surveyor. Follow that. Produce the documents.
And if you don't have it?
If you don't have it, then you're illegal. You go back to where you came from.
Is there a solution to all this, or are we running around in circles and we're not going to get anywhere? Governor, is there a solution?
There is a solution. The solution is a public participatory process of getting all the information right and indicating exactly which area is illegal. And then a process of relocation starts, because you don't just come and start burning houses without giving any notice. You've got to say, Jeff, you are on the wrong area, and these are the clear facts, and this can be communicated even through the administration and all the other people. Once that communication is done, then a solution is sought. If there are people who are mistakenly given title deeds for whatever reasons, and they were issued by the Ministry of Lands, those people can be relocated to other lands.
Senator.
But you cannot just arrive one day and brutalize people. You cannot do that, and you cannot use inflammatory language, and you cannot use the might of government to hammer on innocent local Kenyans.
Jeff, the solution is very simple. This government is in the right track. Kiriako Tobiko today issued a directive, no planting that tea, remove all those people. You cannot separate two forests with a T-zone. That's number one. Let's go to number two. There's those reports. There's no point of using public resources. Right now, most people have not even been paid. Civil servants have not been paid because the government doesn't have money. So where are you going to get that money to carry out another public participation? You've already done the Nur report. You also did another Olentutu report. And also there was another report, a third report which was done. So what is there is, it is very clear. We went to the boundary. Those beacons are very clear. Follow the beacon. Anyone who is beyond that beacon, you go, you get out.
At the same time, the
Simple.
same government that planted the T-zones, that
Yes.
planted the boundary, is the
Yes.
same government now that turns around and is barring this same boundary. What does that
You
mean?
see, let me tell you, earlier on, I'd asked former Governor Ruto, who owns these T-zones? And I suggested to him that I'm going to move a motion on Tuesday, give notice in the Senate of barring those T-zones. Then, lucky enough, Kiriako Tobiko moved ahead. It is like God is talking to all of us. We want to know who is benefiting from those T-zones. That's number one. If it is the Kenyan public which is benefiting from those T-zones, that is money which we are not feeling. For us to be able, let us use the profits to replant trees.
Yes.
In the entire area. We do away with all those T-zones completely. So that it is very clear. Because you cannot, because in my thinking, I can actually say that there are few bourgeoisies, a few big shots in government who are benefiting from that T-zone. And today is when we'll get to know who is actually benefiting from that T-zone.
That is speculative issues. Nyayo T-zone is well known that it is a corporation of Kenya government. Now, how they account, there must be procedures of accounting, and I don't think that is our issue right now.
No, it is my
issue. The issue right now is, first of all, the T-zone, the Nyayo T-zone. Let me just finish.
It is my issue because it is in Narok County. It is affecting the environment of Narok County. And more so, I sit in the Public Account and Investment Committee. So I'm going to follow up to find out
and you do not know
of that Nyayo T-zone who it's benefiting. So it is my issue.
And you don't know.
Okay.
Up to now, you don't know.
It is my issue.
That it's a,
okay?
It's a corporation.
I know it's a state corporation.
Yeah.
But now I'm
so
very happy that the
corporation,
government has done what? Has moved in the right direction.
And that is not, I don't think that is our topic today.
Gentlemen.
The question here is, Nyayo T-zone as a corporation has succeeded in blocking any encroachment on land, on forests. You've seen it in Bomet, and it is the same thing in Nakuru. The same thing around Kericho. The same thing would have happened here. And should be able to happen.
Okay.
Now, as to the arguments about the county forest and the national government forest, that's a matter that is not ours. That is a matter that they can sort out between those two levels of government. Our issue is the people who have been settled, whether correctly or incorrectly, but settled by government officers in Narok, cannot be harassed.
And those who
will not go. If there is anyone
legally in there,
if there is anyone inside the forest, that is a criminal.
But what about inside what was then forest?
Yeah. When?
Inside what was then forest.
You see, there are two issues that you would need to understand. That the whole of that area, all the way from Mulot up to this area, was wooded land. Wooded land. Unlike all the way from Mulot.
Name the blocks. There is a Transmara block,
yes,
which is intact. We have no issue with it.
Yes.
We may have issues with it, but not so much. Yeah. What is happening now in the Masai Mao block is this T-zone, if it is not stopped, and I'm glad, I want to repeat that again, I'm glad that Keriako Tobiko has actually issued the direction to stop it. If it is not stopped, it will eat up over 46,000 hectares of the forest. That is what is happening.
That's 100,000.
That is the story.
Yes.
Okay, finally, is the statement.
Finally, Governor, finally.
Yeah.
Is there hope?
There is definitely hope. If a discussion is done and the brutalization that we are witnessing is stopped, and the inflammatory statements that we are receiving from people like Ledama, if those are toned down, and then a clear discussion roundtable is done involving the people, it can be guided properly to save the environment. It has succeeded on the Nakuru in Kuresoi. That has succeeded. People were relocated. It's possible to relocate people if where those people have crossed the border. But you do that with inflicting minimum human suffering.
Senator.
If you leave it to people like Governor Isaac Ruto, then there is no hope. Hope is only there if all of us remember that we are in this world for a very short time and we must preserve this.
By killing children?
Number one, what he's saying,
by burning houses?
What he's saying is not even factual. The truth is, these people who have encroached into this forest, they started moving out last October. In fact, if it wasn't for Murkomen and his other colleagues who came here and started making noise, all these people would have just gone. These people were moving on a daily basis. So this issue of houses being burned, okay? When you find a place which is completely empty, just, burn that house, it's empty. Let that earth goes back, it will fertilize the soil, plant a tree there. No one has been hurt. There is no child.
Is that the law?
Let me finish.
I gave you time to talk. Is that the law on eviction?
I gave you the law on eviction is this: you have no right coming to encroach into a water catchment. You in Bomet do not have water. You have no water now in Bomet. Your rivers are dry.
Who told you?
Mao and the Masai Mara River is drying up. right now. Go and see crocodiles dying. Go and see hippos dying. Yet this country depend on that tourism dollar.
We should have been there to see.
We have to be honest with each other.
If there is drought all over the country,
honest,
but the point,
Governor,
listen,
the moment we become honest with each other,
listen,
and we are ready to put our political career on the line to save this ecosystem, is the day we will have hope in this country.
let me tell you, the issue, no one is arguing about whether we should conserve Mao or we shouldn't. The question is how. You don't create a situation in which you create enmity between the inhabitants and the trees. Then there will be a backlash. All you need to do is to deal with the environment and save it, like we've done in the rest of Mao. Why is it that there is only a problem on this side?
Let me tell you.
Why is there no problem on the other side?
This part, the reason why this part is good, because there is not a single. The Maasais have actually stood firm, and they have not allowed any Kipsigis to encroach here.
Stood firm how?
Wait, let me finish. This issue of people coming from Bomet, Kericho, they are the ones who are now coming into this area of Sierra Leone, Ngoben. They are the ones who are getting into the forest. We're in Gareta right now. The Maasais are here. All you can hear in the background are cows enjoying. Okay?
Who fell all these trees?
And then the problem is this.
Who did all this destruction? I can see a lot of destruction.
This destruction was done by your people here when they came here.
When?
From here, Ngoben here.
This is Maasai land.
Yeah, but the other one, I'm glad you said
this is areas occupied by the Maasai.
Yes, Maasai land. Then get out. We have no business coming here.
We don't live here. We don't live here.
This is never going to end, gentlemen.
These areas,
let me generalize by saying this.
Yes.
The truth is, first of all, this the Maasai leadership currently. They are all in support of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and Keriako Tobiko and Raila Amolo Odinga for staying firm and making sure that we conserve this environment. The next course of action now is that if these people don't move out, we will tell the Maasais to move in and start planting trees.
You listen to that?
Well, you know, planting trees is important.
Planting trees is important, yes. But what does he actually say?
I just said we to start planting trees.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. We kept our promise.
We did.
From the bench,
yes.
Right.
We came to the log.
Yes.
And this conversation continues.
Yes.
We'll have to continue it, gentlemen. And
right.
I'm glad you both, as disparaging as your views are, at least you can continue talking.
It's democracy.
Right.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.